life is mundane. What I mean is that, to me, hyperrealism is the best way to choose one's dreams and then achieve them. Having big dreams, plus embracing reality, plus having lots of determination, will bring you a successful life. I believe this formula is true for everyone. But what does a successful life look like? We each have to decide for ourselves what success is. I don't care whether you want to be a master of the universe or to live under a palm tree or anything else. I really don't. Each of us chooses goals based on our values and decides on the best path to achieve them. But we all need approaches to making decisions that work well, especially when facing problems, mistakes, and weaknesses that stand in our way. To succeed, we must embrace all our realities, especially the harsh realities that we wish weren't true. At first, looking at these harsh realities caused me a lot of pain, but I learned that this pain was just psychological, and that my seeing things differently made all the difference. I came to view problems like puzzles that would reward me if I could solve them. They would help me deal with the problem at hand, and they would give me principles for dealing with similar problems in the future. I learned to treat pain as a cue, that a great learning opportunity is at hand, which led me to realize that pain plus reflection equals progress. Meditation has been invaluable in helping me see things that way. I found that when I calmed myself down and embraced my realities and dealt with them, the rewards brought me pleasure and the pain faded. Each of us has the unique capability to think logically, to reflect on ourselves and our circumstances, and to direct our own personal evolution. Doing this well is just a matter of following a simple 5-step process. We've discussed how important it is to reflect carefully after experiencing pain. When I did this, I was usually able to discover principles that would prevent me from repeating the same mistakes in the future. And I could see that being successful simply consisted of 5 steps. Step 1 is to know your goals and run after them. What is best for you depends on your nature, so you need to really understand yourself and know what you want to achieve in life. Step 2 is to encounter the problems that stand in the way of getting to your goals. These problems are typically painful. If handled badly, some of them can lead to your ruin. But to evolve, you need to identify those problems and not tolerate them. Step 3 is to diagnose these problems to get at their root causes. Don't jump too quickly to solutions. Take a step back and reflect in order to really distinguish the symptoms from the disease. Step 4 is to design a plan to eliminate the problems. This is where you will determine what you need to do to get around them. And step 5 is to execute those designs, pushing yourself to do what's needed to progress toward your goal. A successful life essentially consists of doing these 5 steps over and over again. This is your personal evolution, and you see this process everywhere. It's just a law of nature. Think of any product, any organization, or any person you know, and you will see that this is true for them. Evolution is simply a process of either adapting or dying. Conceptually, it looks just like the 5-step process I've described. As you push through this often painful process, you'll naturally ascend to higher and higher levels of success. I found that when I did it better, my struggling never became easier, because the more capable I became, the greater the challenges I would take on. Because different people are strong and weak at different things, most people can't do all 5 steps well. Not facing this reality means you could stretch further than you should. And as the heights get greater, your falls could also be greater. Sometimes terrible things happen to all of us in life. They can ruin us, or they can profoundly improve us, depending on how we handle them. Something like this happened to me in 1982. We progress forward until we encounter setbacks. Whether or not we get out of them and continue forward, or spiral downward, depends on whether or not we're willing to face the failure objectively and make the right decisions to turn the loop upward again. Something terrible happened to me in 1982 when I bet everything on a depression that never came. The period between 1979 and 1982 was one of extreme turbulence for the global economy, the markets, and for me. And I believed that the U.S. economy, with the world economy tied to it, was headed toward a catastrophe. This view was extremely controversial. I wanted the great upside and very publicly took a big risk and was wrong, dead wrong. After a delay, the stock market began a big bull market that lasted 18 years, and the U.S. economy enjoyed the greatest growth period in its history. This experience was like a blow to my head with a baseball bat. I had to cut my losses so that my company, Bridgewater, was left with one employee, me. I was so broke, I had to borrow $4,000 from my dad to pay my bills. But even worse was having to let go the people I cared so much about. I wondered whether I should give up my dream of working for myself and play it safe by working for someone else in a job that would require me to put on a tie and commute every day. Though I knew that for me, taking less risk would mean having a less great life. Being so wrong, and especially being so publicly wrong, was painfully humbling. I am still shocked and embarrassed by how arrogant I was in being totally confident in a totally incorrect view. Though I'd been right much more than I'd been wrong, I had let one bad bet erase all my good ones. I thought very hard about the relationship between risk and reward and how to manage them. But I couldn't see a path forward that would give me the rewards I wanted without unacceptable risk. This kind of experience happens to everyone. It will happen to you. You will lose something or someone you think you can't live without, or you will suffer a terrible illness or injury, or your career will fall apart before your eyes. You might think that your life is ruined and that there's no way to go forward, but it will pass. I assure you that there is always a best path forward, and you probably just don't see it yet. You just have to reflect well to find it. You have to embrace your reality. Sometimes things happen that are hard to understand. Life often feels so difficult and complicated. It's too much to take in all at once. My deep pain led me to reflect deeply on my circumstances. It also led me to reflect on nature because it provides a guide for what's true. So I thought a lot about how things work, which helped to put me and my own circumstances in perspective. I saw that at the Big Bang, all the laws and forces of the universe were created and propelled forward, interacting with each other as a perpetual motion machine, in which all the bits and pieces coalesce into machines that work for a while, fall apart, and then coalesce into new machines. This goes on into eternity. I saw that everything is a machine. The structure and evolution of galaxies, the formation of our own solar system, the makeup of Earth's geography and ecosystems, our economies and markets, and each of us. We individually are machines made up of different machines. Our circulatory system, our nervous system, that produce our thoughts, our dreams, our emotions, and all the other aspects of our distinct characters. All of these different machines evolve together through time to produce the realities we encounter every day. And I realized that I was just one tiny bit in 1 nanosecond deciding what I should do. While that perspective might sound very philosophical, I found that it was very practical because it showed me how I could deal with my own realities in a better way. For example, I observed that most everything happens over and over again in slightly different ways. Some in obvious short-term cycles that are easy to recognize, so we know how to deal with them, like the 24-hour day. Some so infrequently that they haven't occurred in our lifetimes, and we're shocked when they do, like the once-in-a-100-year storm. And some we know exist, but are encountering for the first time, like the birth of our first child. Most people mistakenly treat these situations as being unique and deal with them without having proper perspective or principles to help them get through them. I found that if instead of dealing with these events as one-offs, I could see each as just another one of those and approach them in the same way a biologist might approach an animal, first identifying its species, then drawing on principles for dealing with it appropriately. Because I could see these events transpire in pretty much the same ways over and over, I could more clearly see the cause-effect relationships that govern their behaviors, which allowed me to develop better principles that I could express in both words and algorithms. I learned that while most everyone expects the future to be a slightly modified version of the present, it is typically very different. That's because people are biased by recent history and overlook events that haven't happened in a long time, perhaps not even in their lifetime, but they will happen again. With that perspective, I realized that what I missed when I mistakenly called for a Great Depression was hidden in the patterns of history, and I could use my newfound knowledge of these patterns to make better decisions in the future. And when I thought about my challenge, balancing risk and reward, I realized that risk and reward naturally go together. I could see that to get the most out of life, one has to take more risk, and that knowing how to appropriately balance risk and reward is essential to having the best life possible. Imagine you are faced with the choice of having a safe, boring life if you stay where you are, or having a fabulous one if you take the risk of successfully crossing a dangerous jungle. That is essentially the choice we all face. For me, the choice was clear, but that doesn't mean the path forward was without challenges. I still needed to face two big barriers that we all must face. I can't tell you which path in life is best for you because I don't know how important it is for you to achieve big goals relative to how important it is for you to avoid the pains required to get them. This is the courage I spoke of earlier, and we each have to feel these things out for ourselves. After my big mistake in calling for a depression, I had come to one of life's forks in the road, as we all do. If I made the choice to take a normal job and play it safe, I would have ended up with a very different life than the one I had. But as long as I could pay the rent, put food on the table, and educate my kids, the only choice for me was to risk crossing the jungle in pursuit of the best life possible. My big mistake in betting on a depression gave me a healthy fear of being wrong. In other words, it gave me deep humility, which was exactly what I needed. At the same time, it didn't stop me from aggressively going after the things I wanted. To succeed, I needed to see more than I alone could see. But standing in my way of doing that were the two biggest barriers everyone faces: our ego and blind spot barriers. These barriers exist because of how our brains work. First, let's explore the ego barrier. When I refer to your ego barrier, I'm talking about the parts of your brain that prevent you from acknowledging your weaknesses objectively, so that you can figure out how to deal with them. Your deepest-seated needs and fears reside in areas of your brain that control your emotions and are not accessible to your higher-level conscious awareness. And because our need to be right can be more important than our need to find out what's true, we like to believe our own opinions without properly stress testing them. We especially don't like to look at our mistakes and weaknesses. We are instinctively prone to react to explorations of them as though they're attacks. We get angry, even though it would be more logical for us to be open to feedback from others. This leads to our making inferior decisions, learning less, and falling short of our potentials. The second is the blind spot barrier. Everyone has blind spots. The blind spot barrier is when a person believes he or she can see everything. But it's a simple fact that no one alone can see a complete picture of reality. Naturally, people can't appreciate what they can't see. Just as we all have different ranges for singing, hearing pitch, and seeing colors, we have different ranges for seeing and understanding things. For example, While some people are better at seeing the big picture, others excel at seeing details. Some are linear thinkers, and others are more lateral. While some are creative but not reliable, others are reliable but not creative, and so on. Because of how our brains are wired differently, everyone perceives the world around them differently. By doing what comes naturally to us, we fail to account for our weaknesses, and we crash. Either we keep doing that or we change. Aristotle defined tragedy as a terrible outcome arising from a person's fatal flaw. A flaw that, had it been fixed, would have instead led to a wonderful outcome. In my opinion, these two barriers are the main impediments that get in the way of good decision-making. Taking risks and occasionally being ruined wasn't acceptable, and neither was not taking risks and not having exceptional results. I needed an approach that would give me the exceptional upside without also giving me the exceptional downside. When I discovered it, it turned out to be my holy grail. To get it, I needed to replace the joy of being proven right with the joy of learning what's true. This need prompted me to seek out the most thoughtful people I could find who disagreed with me. I didn't care about their conclusions, I just wanted to see things through their eyes, and to have them see things through my eyes, so that together we could hash things out to discover what's true. In other words, what I wanted most from them was thoughtful disagreement. Going from seeing things through just my eyes to seeing things through the eyes of these thoughtful people was like going from seeing things in black and white to seeing them in color. The world lit up. That's when I realized that the best way to go through the jungle of life is with insightful people who see things differently from me. Think about the 5-step process I described earlier. As I said, because we are wired so differently, not everyone can do all the 5 steps well. But you don't have to do them all alone. You can get help from others who are good at what you're not, who are wired to perceive things you can't. All you need to do is let go of your attachment to having the right answers yourself, and use your fear of being wrong to become open-minded to these other views. In this way, you could point out the risks and opportunities that you would individually miss. I found that taking this radically open-minded approach and believability weighting people's thinking significantly increased my probabilities of making the best decisions possible. This enabled me to ascend to greater heights and greater challenges. In the past, I would have always wanted to do what I myself thought was best. But now I sought out the strongest independent thinkers I could find. I still do. There is nothing better to be on a shared mission with extraordinary people who can be radically truthful and radically transparent with each other. This approach led me to create a company with a unique idea meritocracy, operating in a unique way that produced unique successes. In an idea meritocracy, you get the best of everybody. Everyone thinks independently. Then we work through our disagreements to get at what's best. However, not every opinion is equally valuable, and we had to learn to distinguish between good ideas and bad ones to get the best decisions. In other words, we needed to believability weight people's thinking. But that's another story I will explain in my work principles. Right now, there are many wonderful opportunities and dangerous risks surrounding you that you don't see. If you saw them, free of the distortions produced by your ego or your blind spots, you would be able to deal with them more effectively. If you could acquire this ability, and with practice you can, you will radically improve your life. So far, I described how I learned to confront my own realities, my problems, my mistakes and weaknesses, and how I surrounded myself with others who could do things better than I could. This was the most effective way I discovered for making great decisions. This is not the normal way of being. But through this approach, I became very successful. And being successful enabled me to meet extraordinarily successful people and see how they think. I've discovered that their journeys were similar to mine. You might not know it, but they all struggle, and they all have weaknesses, that they all get around by working with people who see risks and opportunities that they would miss. Over time, I learned that by nature, most people's greatest strengths are also connected to their most significant weaknesses. And striving hard for big things is bound to lead you to painful falls. It's just part of the process. Such setbacks will test you. They sort people. Some think hard about what caused their setbacks, learn lessons, and continue progressing toward their goals, while others decide that this game is not for them and get off the field. I've come to realize that success is not a matter of attaining one's goals. I found that when I reached each new higher level of success, I rarely remained satisfied. The things we are striving for are just the bait. Struggling to get them forces us to evolve, and it is this struggle toward personal evolution with others that is the reward. I no longer wanted to get across the jungle, but instead wanted to find greater and greater challenges to go after, surrounded by great people, working together on a shared journey. Eventually, the success of the mission and the well-being of the people alongside me became more important than my own success. I also started to see beyond myself and wanted others to be successful when I'm no longer here. I realize that if I fail to do that, I will be a failure. I struggle with this now. We all struggle with different things at different times, until we either choose to give up or until we die and become part of the larger evolutionary story. This is how all machines work and are recycled through time. When a machine breaks down, its parts go back into the system to become parts of new machines that also evolve through time. Sometimes this makes us sad because we become very attached to our machines. But if you look at it from the higher level, it's really beautiful to observe how the machine of evolution works. Now you must decide for yourself how you will evolve. Forget about where these principles came from. Just assess whether or not they are useful to you and evolve them to suit your own needs. As with all of life's decisions, what you do with them is ultimately up to you. My only hope for you is that you have the courage to struggle and evolve well to make your life as great as it can be. Thank you and goodbye.
Booyah. It's good video there from I believe this one was from Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio. Yeah, Ray Dalio, he's a really good author. Has some good content on YouTube as well. But yeah, that one was a really good one. Clear up my screens here and we're gonna get started. First off,
law number one, never out.
We welcome everyone. Welcome Angel, Christian, Daniel, Darnell, D, Demar, Diva, Old Dad, Epifanio, Ezra, Francisco, Gilbert. We got iPhone. All right, welcome in. Let's get started here. Just waited a couple minutes for some more people to hop in. So right now we're actually transitioning from Discord to Telegram. So as time goes on, there should be more and more people hopping in here. In the meantime, thank you all for joining in and got a good amount of stuff for you guys here. Today, I'm going to be including some training, which is going to help you out when it comes to trading and As far as trading, the strategy that I'm going to show is going to help out not just in Forex trading, but it can help out in stocks, crypto, really anything that has a market, you can trade this. You can trade it on gold, silver, oil, even indices. So we'll be getting into that here shortly. Now, as far as like a tip that I can give you guys here, so this is actually a pretty good website that you can save onto your browser. It's called e.ggtimer.com. If you save this onto your browser, basically, if you want to add a timer for yourself, let's just say like if you're having a meeting and you want to make sure to keep yourself accountable to like how long you want to have that meeting, you can put here like, let's just say you're going to keep yourself accountable for a 30-minute meeting, or it could even be something that's productive, like giving yourself 30 minutes for a certain task. This could be very useful when it comes to like time management. You just change the time here, and you have like now something here that can alert you when the 30-minute is over or whatnot. So for this here, I'm going to max keep it at 1 hour, just so I don't go overboard here. I want to give you guys as much value as possible, but at the same time, I got things to do and trying to give you guys all this value within 1 hour. So let me change my annotation. Welcome those of you that are on YouTube watching this live. Thank you for joining in. Okay, so let's go onto the charts. First off, in the chat box area on Zoom, or it can be on YouTube, let me know what charts you would like me to analyze. Mainly in the foreign exchange market. I can do like some indices as well. I actually did some last week for NAS 100. But if there's any currency pairs that you would like me to analyze, just let me know. Put it in the chat box there. I see Demar said AUD USD. I'll check that one out since you're the first one to message in here. Francisco Gonzalez said US 30. Oh, Euro USD, US 30. Yeah, this was actually, I did not change this at all. The NAS 100 analysis that I did last week, but this was actually what I predicted. So last week when the chart was around here, when was it? On Tuesday, right? So you can see it's Tuesday here. So the chart was looking like this last week for NAS 100. I don't really trade this one, but actually looking to move into indices here pretty soon. Just want to practice some more, get an idea of how this market works. I did do some like US 30 in the past, so I am familiar with that market. The US oil, like crude oil, Brent crude oil, all that did in the past. So I'm gonna start getting into different markets here, but my main specialty is going to be the foreign exchange market. So all the currencies, just yeah. But yeah, so this was what was happening last week. Here, and you can see as the week started going by, I actually predicted that it was going to come down into this area, perfectly touched, as you can see, and then bounced off. So right now, if you were to get into this, I suggested to get into a buy somewhere around here and aiming for up here. So it's still on its way up. For those that don't know about like inverted head and shoulder patterns, the distance is expected to go about this high, at least. So I actually made this one a little shorter, make it the exact size. So it's expected to go about this high here from the actual breakout. So yeah, so far doing pretty well on its way up. Well, let me see. So Demar, he did mention first about AUD USD. I'm going to be analyzing for a bit here, and then I'll go on to onto the training part. So make sure not to miss out on that training part. Promise this is going to help out. If it doesn't help out, don't be mad at me, but I'm almost sure that the strategy will help you out. Okay, so first one, AUD USD. And before I get into this, since this one does have USD, I'm going to look at Forex calendar just to see if there's any high impact on news. So we do see some high impact at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for CAD, medium impact on USD, new home sales. Okay, and then an hour later, again for CAD. And then, yeah, so this is mainly going to be for tomorrow. I'm just going to look at this here. So CAD, mainly CAD and USD. So currency pairs for this that would be good to look at are going to be like USD CAD, CAD CHF. We'll be looking at CAD pairs specifically, but also USD as well. So let me just move this coming down. Now, I actually, inside of the Telegram group, you guys probably have seen that I've changed my charts to gold. There's going to be like a private area that I'm going to have for myself. It's just like a gold colored chart. So just to look fancy, pretty nice here. And I don't really need to see the blue and the green in order for me to trade. But yeah, this is that's how it's going to be looking like. To keep it easy so you guys understand like the red and the green, I'll keep this like this. USD. Okay, top-down analysis. Let's see what's going on. Let me erase everything. Okay, just to get a clear view here. It's actually in a major area where it will most likely be rejecting. You'll see that anytime the price is in this area here, it will most likely be reversing. And if you see the overall pattern, just looking at how market structure is, this right shoulder right here is definitely lower. But it is at like the, we're to have this trend here, it's basically at like a breakout here of this trend, and then coming back down into this major support area. So where do you think the price is going to go? I doubt it's going to continue dropping down just because of like history, right? History, this is basically the very lowest that it dropped down to, and then price rejects. So looking at this, let me actually do my neckline here. Neckline is going to look like that. So basically the prediction for this is it's going to reject here, come up, come back down, and then continue to rise up like that. Now, this was on the monthly time frame that I did this pattern. So this entire move is like this is an investment. This is not like day trading stuff. But knowing this on the bigger time frame, it's important because we'll be able to see what's going to happen on the smaller time frames, expecting for this to go up. So this would basically my buy zone here. We'll be looking to buy this entire area. Going on to the daily. Okay, actually go back a bit just to see something. Okay, so we see like an engulfing there. I think I had the settings wrong. Let's see. Okay. Daily. Okay. Trace this circle here. Okay. All right, so it's a major area to buy. The only thing is just based off of looking at this, it's still on a downtrend. That the structure hasn't shown reversal just yet. So what I think is going to happen, this is like the make or break area right here. So I do think it's going to break through, hit around here. Let me put my arrow, hit right into this area here. Come back down, hit to about somewhere around here, and then continue to rise up. Okay, we can see that it had like a consolidation rectangle right there. So the distance should at least rise about this high, which is perfect, exactly where I expect price to go up to. And then, so we can buy this market, we can also sell the market as it's dropping down. Overall, we're looking for buys. Again, I mentioned this is going to be a buy zone, so wait for market to come up. Looking for buys throughout this entire area. And then when it comes back down, we could sell. It's just a little bit riskier on that sell there, but it's still likely to drop. We can base it off like Fibonacci at that point. Let's see. Yeah, so that's basically my prediction on this. Now, what I buy here, I personally would not buy in this area just because it's at the high and it's at a strong resistance. So it's like hit or miss at that point, because it could still come down to about here, and then it could come up to about here, and then it could play around here. So it hasn't fully done its breakout. I personally like when it breaks out completely, and then you can even get into a trade somewhere around here. Let's see the price. Now the only thing with getting in a trade right here is it might look like a 1-to-1 ratio to have like a decent stop loss. So let's see, entry around, let's say 250, take profit 1,000, so around 250, stop loss around 1,000. So that's going to be a 1-to-1 ratio as it's coming up. And once it's up here, yeah, that'll be for a different day, but we'll be looking for something that's telling us to sell around here. And then as it comes down, this is what I'm talking about, how we will be predicting in the future what's going to happen here. So most likely look like this, which is perfect the way that I did it. It's going to come down probably around 50, 61.8, reject off that, and then continue to rise up. Now the distance that it should rise up, based off this type of like, it's kind of like another Head and Shoulders here, right? Inverted. The distance will probably, depending on how high this goes, probably be all the way up to here. So somewhere around here, there's another area of potential reaction right here. just to keep in mind. Do my tool. So we're talking possibly like TP1 zone, TP2 zone, all the way up here. It could be actually, way I like doing it is 0% being TP1. Once it does its reaction. So TP1, TP2 at negative 27%, TP3 at negative 61.8. Cool. So hope this answers your question. Now, if you're trying to scalp, that's going to be a little bit more riskier, but looking at scalping right now, it's actually, if you do want to scalp this, it's doing a flagpole pattern. I'll actually pull this this pattern here on Google for everyone. I already have these memorized. I'm familiar with this. Excuse me. But basically the flagpole is one strong push coming up, consolidation, and then price continues to rise up. So it'll look like this in the chart. Strong push, consolidation, and then strong push going up. So if I go back to the chart, you can see strong push, consolidation, and then strong push going up. Usually that strong push should be based off of flagpoles. I believe it's a distance from down here to here is the distance that it will rise. To be safer, I like doing the distance from here to here is the distance that it will rise. So this could be like take profit 1 if you were to buy this, take profit 1, take profit 2. So this could be another buy entry right here. Take profit 1, make sure to have stop loss pretty decent. Might be the first one, 1 to 1. And then take profit 2 up to here. So this one's going to be like a 1 to 2 ratio on the second one. So you'll most likely see that this is going to happen. Just watch out for that. Also, something that kind of tells me that it's going to happen, you might not notice this, but based off of experience, I see this happen a lot where a wick comes up and then it comes back down and then it will come back to fill that wick. So this is because people place like pending buy stops up here. It's kind of like a market maker move. So people will enter, or the market will shoot, I can't even talk right now. The market will activate people's pending buy stops up here on top of this resistance and then come straight down. You can see it's exactly straight down at where most likely people's stop loss will be at. So it's like people will lose this trade and then they'll just take the loss. So it's not really a good entry there. Sometimes pending buy stops are good, but it's not good for scalping. My personal opinion, not so good with scalping just because market's constantly up and down, up and down. But for longer term, it is going to be good, and just wait for price to come up here and then kind of keep an eye out to see, like, if you're scalping, first off, you do got to stay looking at your chart. So if you see a quick reaction coming up and then straight down, just close your trade. Don't even wait for it to stop loss. Just close your trade because it's most likely a market maker move. But then once it does do its full breakout, that's the one that you want to secure your profits and hold on to that trade. Yeah, this is a really good one. I'm actually probably going to place a trade on this one. By the way, I'm not trying to sell anyone here. I guess it's kind of a little bit sales, but if you do want to join into the my trades to be able to see all my trades live, you can. I actually just started releasing them. I just started releasing them here pretty soon. It was about, like, I think 2 weeks ago. I started it back up. I stopped for a while. I can't even remember, but You can see like all of these trades right here are the exact trades that I would place myself. So I give the take profit, stop loss, and you can see the other day we hit 100% here. And everything is updated live from one of my MT4 accounts. So you can see all of these trades. We actually did a NAS 100 trade. You can see everything from all the trades that are being placed. So if you did want to join there, just you can message on Telegram, or you can message on the Market Masters Academy website. There's like a chat button. Someone can help you out there. But back to this. So yeah, I'm going to be looking for buys here. I'm going to save this chart. Is it for sure one? Let's look at everyone else's here. So I got 2 requests for US 30. I can check that one out. Check out US 30. And again, I know there's some more people that hopped in here. So in this live analysis, I'm gonna also include some training. So stay in there. This training will help you out. So looking at US 30. Remove everything. Okay, just from looking at this, it's at a major support. This is a monthly time frame. The month's about to end. So I would say US 30 long term is going to be going up, just because and it also depends on how the month closes, right? So today's the 25th of October. So the month is about to close up here pretty soon. I think it will close bullish here. But definitely strong reaction that we're seeing here. By the way, just by knowing support and resistance, you guys, like you can see that when the price was all the way down here, you're just looking to buy right there. Like it's very simple. You could have got in right here, and this entire move pushing up, that could have been like lots of profits. So it would have been in your buy zone, and you would just look to buy this. Now overall it is on a downtrend. I do see 1 push, 2 push, this is the 3rd push, so most likely trends getting weaker here. Okay. Now it's in a strong resistance area right here, so it's just something to keep in mind that it might hit and then come back down. So I think potentially, so it did the double bottom there, but it can also do an inverted head and shoulders within this whole thing. So you kind of see like left shoulder right there. Possibly if it goes higher and then back down, might do retracement around here. So it might look something like this. Push maybe a little bit higher to about here, come back down to about there. And then that could be like another area that you can look for to buy US 30. Right now, if you can see based off my prediction of what I think is going to happen. So again, none of this is like 100%, but if you've been to these live analysis, you'll see that like usually next week when I cover this again, or when I look back at what happened, it usually always happens for the most part. So just keeping it simple, I think it's going to come up here. The increase is very small compared to the decrease where I think it's going to come down to. But once it's down here, then we can look for buying opportunities to go up, just because it's what I see on the bigger time frame. So it might not even drop here. It might be a stronger drop, like about here, just from what I'm seeing. So it's going to probably be something like this. And here's something else that can help out is this right here. So this would basically be like double support right there. If price comes up, it can even start reversing now. Like, it doesn't have to go all the way up there, but if it does start reversing earlier, then I do think it will rise a little bit more, at least, just because Fibonacci. Let's see, so low. So where I think it's going to go up to, it would be perfect because it come down to around 50%, and then it start going up. Okay, let me go back to the bigger time frame 1 sec. Now, if it does reverse starting now, that still would be fine, because it would drop down to about 38.2, so that would be good. So maybe actually, just based off of what I'm seeing here, if it does reverse now, expect price to drop around 31,211, and then strong reversal, just because of that's the way that the trend has been moving. It's been like a strong push, and then 38.2 is usually indication of another strong push. So that's overall good. Now, how would I place my trade? Waiting for it to hit somewhere around here, stop loss right here, take profit. If you want a really good risk to reward, it'd be strong push. To about up here. Now with this big of a take profit, you can give the stop loss a little bit more room to breathe, just because of retracement. Because like I did the Fibonacci based off the 4 hour. I hit the Fibonacci based off this 4 hour, which is usually where I do it at. But if we're looking like, let's say, daily Fibonacci, it'd be more like this low would be down here. This low would be down here, and then this would be up here. So usually I would have stop loss maybe like about here, just to be kind of safe there. But again, this one, we want to wait for more structure, right? So just be careful with this one, because again, on the bigger time frame, it's still in a downtrend. We can see a longer move, but it's still in the downtrend. So you can catch lots of pips, but just you can't keep it too tight here. 1 sec, let me drink some water. And let me know if you guys have questions here. Pretty soon we'll be starting the actual training portion. Do a couple more analysis here and then do this. Someone said, is that the same doing the bot trading? I don't know what you're referring to, but yeah, this is my analysis. Shot by Flock said, honestly, this is great help. Glad it can help you out here. This is it's good to, especially if you already have done the training portion, like you know what I'm talking about, so it can help you out with analyzing. And if you realize what I'm talking about here, this is like the basic price action. I didn't even get into like 3+ confirmations, right? We're looking at price action mainly. If you actually want to, there's a pretty good book out there if you want to read it. It's called Naked Forex. I feel like that would be pretty beneficial to you all. Or like the most benefit is actually doing the training within Market Masters Academy. But as far as like naked trading, it's really good because it's just teaching you price action. It's teaching you like to look at the charts clean, clear, like it's actually pretty easy. If you realize with trading, it's like what comes up must come down, but at the same time, there's like structure. It's structure and it's like pretty easy to kind of identify which areas it's most likely going to reject off of and where price is most likely going to go into. Like it's very, very simple. Like this downtrend right here, like lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Like, what do you think is going to happen at the lower high? There's this one dude, Adam Cooey's like, duh. It's funny how he says it, but it's kind of like very easy. Like even probably a little kid can tell you if it's going lower, and if it goes higher, it's probably going to drop lower, right? So said, I have your master classes, I'll read it at work, thanks for the book. Awesome. I'm going to pause recording here just real quick, just because I want to give you guys like a pretty good tool here. If you this will help you guys out. I just won't have this inside of the recording, so just give me 1 second. Actually, I don't think I can do it. Okay, so this tool, message me on Telegram, and I'll give you the link to this tool. It's gonna help out here. Let me actually look it up on my other screen. I just don't want to say it out loud, but it's going to help you guys out. And the book was called Naked. So yeah, on Telegram, my username is at Real Risky Ricky. Okay, someone on Telegram took Risky Ricky on there, so I just named myself Real Risky Ricky. So on Telegram, just message me there, and I will share this link with you. Okay, so let's look at the next pair, which was Euro USD that someone mentioned on here. And then at when this gets around 20 minutes, so give it like 8 more minutes, we'll start getting into the strategy. So thanks for holding in there. And within here, I'm teaching strategies as well, so it's not like just that thing. Frankie G said, you're the man. I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate everyone for being here, by the way. You know, it's the reason why I'm doing this. I don't, there's not really like a benefit that I get from this. Well, the main benefit, what I'm trying to say is the main benefit is to help out other people. So that's like really the overall goal here. I want more and more of you guys to be successful and help each other out within the community here. And you know, let's look at Euro USD. I see you guys are messaging me on Telegram. Let me mute my notifications. 1 second. I'll be sharing it here pretty soon. Let me just mute my notifications. Desktop, there we go. Okay, after this live analysis, I'll be sharing it, okay? I see a bunch of messages coming in, so yeah, I'll get to those here pretty soon. I'll have someone help me out as well. Actually, it's not gonna be too much, I hope. Okay, so let's get into Euro USD real quick because we have like 6 minutes. Top down analysis, I erased everything. There we go. We have bigger time frame just to see what's going on. Did its breakout here? Okay, so it's definitely going down. Let's see here. Okay, so possible reaction that's going to happen where it's currently at, and I do see that it was like dropping, and then reaction right here. Yeah, so this is a pretty valid area. Okay. So reversal, daily. You could see so many sell opportunities here. Sell. Like this is so after these two, like sell. Here, possibly even sell. The only thing is that it's at a strong support, so just keeping that in mind that you just got to look out to see what's going to happen. In this time frame, it's on an uptrend, so okay, so just from looking at this, I think it's going to drop down, hit here probably one more time, and then this one's a little bit difficult just because the bigger time frame, it's like in a strong sell area, but it's also in a strong buy area. So it's like that's where it gets a little confusing. Now, if it breaks out this entire area, it'll rise, I think, to about here. Rise to about here. So I kind of want to wait for more market structure just because like we don't want to sell here because it's at a buying area. But then when it's down here, gonna see if it gives any signs, but it's still like strong resistance on this downtrend. So it's a little complicated there. Now, I would prefer for this market structure to, probably do something like this, come back up, come back down, wait for it to reach somewhere around here, and then look for buying opportunity for this to rise up. Wait for buying opportunity. Yeah. Let me just add one thing, which I'm going to be sharing here pretty soon. Okay. Downtrend, but can possibly reverse. Real quick, I'm just going to check. I'm like a minute here before I get into the training portion. I'm gonna check the DXY, the dollar index, and see what's going on here. Actually, oh, so it's coming out perfect. Last week, Tuesday, so market was around here last week. This was my drawing that I said was going to happen. Come up and then come down to about here. So far it's still it's pretty accurate. If you can see, like, it has been dropping. It's been dropping, but still within this channel right here. So it's going into this uptrend, and I think still has potential up until this area here. So that being said, the dollar should most likely still be increasing, which means this will probably still be decreasing, which again means that it will probably reject off here and maybe even break through and come down and then stop like around here, or drop even further. So depending on how that does its thing, but it is still in the downtrend. That's why I'm like a little confused here, because it can either do this going up, or it can go and continue coming down. I've noticed sometimes that's what happens. So this entire zone right here, it's an area for rejection, but sometimes I notice the left shoulder will stay within this rejection, and then this, like, let's just say if it does a head right here and then it comes back up, and then it'll come down like this, and both the left shoulder and the right shoulder will stay within here, and then the head will just peak down here a bit, and then this will probably be like the longer term movement right here, and then comes up here again, same thing, but in a different area up here, and then like that. So possibilities here, but it's still on the downtrend, so it's where it's like a little tricky. Okay, now, oh shit, went past a bit, but it's all right. So let's get into the training portion. Make sure to pay close attention here. Now, one of the things that I mentioned within my trainings is indicators is not going to be the main focus. Indicators is going to be that secondary, but we use indicators as something to help us out. So one of the indicators I'm going to show you guys today is going to be the moving average. The moving average, it's an indicator that helps you identify the flow of the market. Now, depending on the settings that you use, there's a bunch of numbers and different types of indicators you can use. There's simple moving average, there's exponential moving average. But for this strategy specifically, I actually learned this one from a book. It was from Tony Robbins. The book, let me see, I have it here. I want to say it's Unleashing the Power Within. No, Unbreakable, I believe. Unbreakable. Anyways, it was a book where he was interviewing a bunch of millionaires and billionaires, and just getting an idea of the mindset that they use or strategies that they use to make money. And so one of the interviews that I caught within that book, he was talking to an investor, and this investor, he's a stock trader, and he mentions that he uses the moving average on the daily time frame for the stocks. And so let me go into stocks, and I'm just going to show you guys here. So let me do Apple. I always forget the thing here for Apple, AAPL. So erasing everything. Okay, so what he mentioned was he goes on to the daily time frame and then he uses the moving average, right? So to add the moving average onto your chart, you want to click on indicator and then you look up moving average. It's going to be moving average or moving average exponential. So we're going to select the one that says just regular moving average. And the settings that he uses. So once it goes onto your chart, you want to change the settings, the input, the length here. I think normally it shows at like 14 or something like that. So you want to change that to 200. So basically with the 200 moving average, it shows you where the trend is going, right? This is kind of like very, very basic, very easy, but with the 200, what I've noticed, so he didn't even mention this within the training within the book, but I noticed that the 200 moving average, so when the market's moving up, the 200 moving average moves up. When the market's consolidating, the moving average, you'll see this blue line right here, will be going sideways, right? And when the market is going down, you'll see that the moving average will be pointing downwards. So like right here, it's pointing downwards. Now you can see the blue line going down. But something else that I notice as well, because I know like support and resistances, is with this moving average, you'll notice that, let's say right here when price is coming down. So price came down and then it came back up. And when it came up, it hit that blue line, the 200 moving average, and it rejected off of it, right? So when the price is coming down, hits this blue moving average, you're going to treat this as like a resistance level. So it's going to reject off of it like if it's a ceiling. It's going to hit and then bounce down. You can see again, price comes back up. When price comes up to the 200 moving average, this blue area, it'll hit and then come down. Now, when price is above it, so we can see right here, it's showing that it's coming down on the moving average, but now the candlesticks are above. So now it will be playing like support. When the price comes down, hitting the 200 moving average, it will hit and then come up. Comes back down, you'll see it hits perfectly and then it comes back up. So you'll see multiple areas within the 200 moving average. It will play like support. Anytime the price is above, it will hit and then it'll bounce. And then anytime the price is below, it'll usually hit like resistance and then bounce down. In this case right here, so it's not always like going to happen, right? In trading, there's no 100%. But the chances of it rejecting is high. So that's part of like what I do with my trading is I look for things that most of the time, like let's say 70 to 80 to 90% of the time, it's going to happen and then it's going to follow the strategy. So with this strategy, just look for market to come up into that area and then look for the reversal. So in this case, it didn't happen, but all these other examples did. So let's see another area. So here it did happen. We do see price dropped below, but again, it's still an area where price was, the 200 moving average was pointing up. Price came down, but then it came back up. And you'll see as I continue to go up, here perfectly hit, rejected. Here kind of perfectly hit and then rejected. So right now, if you can see the current 200 moving average on Apple, you can see it's pointing downwards, right? Price is coming up. It's probably going to hit that 200 moving average and then it's going to come down. Now, because it's stocks, usually for stocks you want to buy, it's just like companies will usually rise rather than drop. But based off of what I'm seeing here, it's looking to possibly come up, just adding some more technicals here, possibly come up to about here and then drop down. let me add some more technicals. So let's just say it's going to come up to around the 50% area and then drop down. Just based off of looking at moving average, looking at the structure. It did give a higher low, so it's a little more structure that we want to keep in mind here. But at the same time, like it seems to have hit a high level, right? So this strategy, again, I'm mentioning that this works for stocks, but then what I started doing was I started looking into Forex and crypto and different markets to see if this strategy works. So with Forex, let me look at like the euro to the USD. So with Forex, you'll also see like areas where it'll hit like resistance and then it'll reverse on the 200 moving average. It'll hit like support and then it'll reverse. I notice it's better on the daily time frame for stocks. For Forex, I've been noticing that it's better on the 4 hour. So if you go onto the 4 hour, you actually see like a lot more areas where it's respecting it. So like here hitting like resistance, coming down, came up to about here, came down. Here the price did break above, and you can see multiple areas where it's hitting like support right there on the 200 moving average. And then like right here hitting like resistance multiple times. Here it hit like resistance. So you'll see like so many areas where it's hitting like support and resistance. Here it's a breakout. Again, this is what I predicted. Excuse me, let me drink some water here. 1 sec. Okay, so here's what I predicted. Price was coming up and then coming back down to maybe about here. And it aligns perfectly with the 200 moving average that's coming right here. So it will most likely come and it will meet up with the 200 moving average right there. And then it will rise up. Or it will break through. So again, it's playing like support and resistance. It's not always going to stay in that, but it's playing like support and resistance. Many areas that show you that it will reject off of it when it reaches the 200 moving average. So all over, like I can even go far back in like it's just so many different areas, and you can use it to show you if it's going up or if it's going down. If the candlesticks are below the 200 moving average, then mainly look for sells. If the price is above the moving average, then mainly look for buys. So like right here, I do want to mainly look for buys. Again, I don't really want to sell here. I mentioned that earlier. I don't want to sell here, but I do want to buy when it's down here. I want to buy when it's here. And even better, like if price was to do this move right here, comes up and then comes back down, this 200 moving average will start slowly going like this, but it'll meet up and it'll hit like support and most likely hit and bounce off. So it's just kind of the way that the market flows, and just keeping that in mind there. So let's go on to another chart and show you guys here one that we haven't looked at. Okay, erase my drawings. And just off of my drawing here, like, I mean, off of the charts, let's look at this. So like throughout this entire downtrend, multiple areas, resistance, all just dropping down. And you can see when it broke and then candlesticks mainly stayed above, you can tell this is a big break right there. So that's a big break. 200 moving average started going up, and then you just mainly want to buy when the price is above the 200 moving average. 4 hours is a good one. If you want to do scalping, it can also be helpful. I actually use this as a tool for scalping sometimes, mixed with like Fibonacci and whatnot. But same thing applies. It's a different time frame. And you can see support, bounce off, support, bounce off. Support bounce, but then it broke, hit like resistance, and then it came back down. So it's multiple areas. I mainly look for the trends if I'm doing my scalping. So like right here, for example, if I was to scalp this, I would wait for price to come back up. When it comes back up, I can do this, and then I'll be selling right here when it hits the 200. And then this is most likely going to drop down into here. It's going on the downtrend, strong push coming down. And let me look for an example when it's going up. So okay, so let's just say like right here. So price is above, comes back down. Price is above, comes back down. We can see that it touches right here. We mix that, mix with fibs. It hit the 50% right in this area, and then it bounced off all the way up to 61.8. And then like, I would have quickly scalped this, especially like, it's just multiple things that'll tell you that it's going to bounce off. So 200 moving average, plus it's hitting support right here was once resistance, now support. Plus like looking at this trend overall, hits, bounces off. Just, it doesn't get easier than that. When it's dropping down, drops. I don't like this small uptrend right here, but it does hit around the 200 moving average, and then it drops down. So that could have been like a good sell opportunity. 50, 61.8 at the 200, waited for price to drop below that, and I would have placed a sell looking like a short position right about there, stop loss here, and take profit right about here. So I believe it did on this candle, hit, and then it went up. But yeah, let's see where we're at with time. So we have about 30 minutes. Let's do a quick Q&A. See if you guys have any questions here. Quick Q&A. We have about 3 minutes, 3 minutes left here. Put in the chat box area if you have any questions. Now's your time, or forever speak your piece or whatever. What about the RSI indicator? That's a different strategy. I can't cover over that here. The second book, it's not a second book, but it's a book, Naked Forex. So message me on Telegram. Jason said, are you still testing out accounts in Dubai with a broker? So yes, still doing tests. Actually right now, like quick announcement. So I am doing tests when it comes, excuse me. I'm doing tests when it comes to prop firms. So if you don't know what prop firms are, it's a way of being able to acquire funding. It wasn't there when I first started trading 7 years ago, but it did start getting released, I believe, like 4 years ago or so. So at that time, like I didn't need extra funding, but some of you guys like are probably starting off with really small, like $100 or $500, and maybe this extra funding will be helpful. So what I'm working on here on my end is to be able to find a solution to help you guys out when it comes to like passing the prop firms. Because one of the things, like you either have to be an expert trader to be able to pass the prop firm challenges, or I'm working for like an automated way to be able to pass this. So either way, it's just there to help you guys out. So right now I'm not releasing anything. That's about as much information I'll be releasing, but once I get past around 10 different challenges in a row, so not even like 3 pass and 1 fails, like not to that point. I want to pass 10 in a row to be like for sure secure that this will work. So it might be released in 6 months, maybe a year. I really don't know. It depends on like, you know, how we do the challenges and whatnot. But for now, it is not being released until I get the full back testing and everything in place. So okay, let's see some more questions. I like to do top-down analysis and then enter on the 1 minute, 5 minute. Yeah, if you're scalping, yeah, 1 minute, 5 minute. For me personally, I like the very lowest 15. The very lowest 15. It's just, yeah, if you get into 1 minute, 5 minute, it'll kind of show you more market structure, but at the same time, like, how much more lower do you want to go? You kind of want to get the bigger image. And I have also gone down to the 5 minutes, so it's not like I don't. Even 1 minute, like sometimes let's just say like at a strong resistance, so like right here in this area that I was analyzing, if I go down to like, let's say the 5 minute here, so it's been a while since I've dropped it down. So 5 minute, and usually when I do that, it will be on my phone, so not really on my computer. A 5 minute, let's see, 1 minute. Yeah, it's not giving me that much. 5 minute. Where everything goes. There we go. So yeah, there could be some like some things that you can look at, maybe like market structure like this, or even this wick right here that came up like that. It's a strong area to sell. So when price is below, you could even probably look for like smaller market structure within here. It's kind of crazy, but like drop down, possibly come back to about here, doing that left shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? So yeah, I've also done it for smaller time frames. Someone said, "Thank you so much, Ricky, for your time and for helping all of us and learning a lot from you." You're welcome, Daniel. What session do you trade? The sessions are mainly London and New York sessions, sometimes Asian. But yeah, mainly London, New York. Someone else said, "Thank you for your time, Ricky." Okay, thank you all for your time as well. You know, it wasn't just me here. Thank you all for joining in here, spending your time with me. Again, I plan on doing this weekly. I was actually in Dubai for about 3 months, so during that time with time difference, it was hard for, because most people within the community are part of the US, so it's harder with the time difference. It was like a full 24-hour time difference. It was daytime when it was nighttime over there. And yeah, it was a long time since the last Technical Tuesday, but now back in the US, now focused on trading. I'm actually right now I'm stacking, so it's October right now, so I'm finishing Stacktober, finishing real strong here. Lots of my trades have been profiting here, like high returns, so it's going really well here. But yeah, definitely your own trading will always make you the most money if you know what you're doing. Make sure your risk to reward's good. Don't trade off of emotions, trade off of strategies. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Final thing, message me on Telegram if you do want to be, if you did want to get that one resource that I mentioned earlier. It's just free. It's not anything charged. I just want to give you guys something that I know for a fact will help you guys out. So message me on Telegram at Real Risky Ricky on Telegram. Instagram, I get lots of messages, but you could message me there if you want, at Risky Ricky on Instagram. Well, I appreciate you, man. Can't wait to join again. Are you going to have some sort of us do our setups for some chart training? If you're part of like the actual training portion, the Market Masters, there is, so this Market Masters training, it is this one is one that you can reach out to me and I can help you out privately. So you can send me the charts if you're part of this Market Masters, this Forex Masters course. Yeah, thank you guys. Have yourselves a good night. Let's catch some pips. Let's make some money. See you guys.